Okay, so now we're back in the custom menu area, and like I said, we need some sort of title for these pages, but one of the things that, it doesn't really make sense to call it pages, because what does that even mean when you're on a website? I mean, a post looks like a page looks like a page, even a media attachment page looks like a page, right? So that's really meaningless to the end user. What you would want to do is something like learn more or something like that. Because if you think about what those links are, it's going to be about the contributors and it's going to be about contacting. So you could say learn more and or get in touch or something like that. So let's just say learn more, and we can even be really enthusiastic with an exclamation mark, and we'll save that. Now, the other thing too that I found a little bit daunting were the level of categories. And the recent posts also, like if you wanted to come down here and if you felt like the posts were too many, you could maybe say 3. And if you wanted to show the date, you could show the date, but I'm not going to. And the other thing is I don't necessarily want it to say recent posts, so I'm going to give it a title and call it latest articles. Or I could also call it, if I didn't want to call it latest articles, I could also call it something a little bit more lively, like, latest destinations or latest reviews or something like that even. Let's just say reviews is even a little bit more interesting, but let's say latest destinations. Okay, and let's just save that. And then we can see how that looks. I'm going to close that. I keep jumping over there. And we're going to see how this looks by refreshing. And so now when I come over here, learn more, that's so much more inviting, and latest destinations. And if I wanted to be really enthusiastic still, I could even put another exclamation, but I don't know if I want to do that. So it shows me 3 of these. And then if I wanted, the other thing that probably I could do in between each one of these is put like a little horizontal rule, because right now they're sort of blending together. So something else that's kind of useful to know is that over here in your widgets area, there is a thing called text. And so what I can do is if I just click on text, this is an accessibility feature, then I can tell it to go to the home page menu widget area. So I'll just hit enter on my enter key. And I'm not going to give it a title because I don't want it to actually say anything. And what's really great here is I can put HTML. And so I can just say HR for horizontal rule, which is terrific. And I don't want to automatically add paragraphs. That's something that I could, test if I wanted. But anyway, so yeah, I can use that. And I'm going to put that up right in between learn more and recent posts. Okay, so right now I've got the text after learn more. And then if I wanted to have the same thing, let's just copy that again, or just copy that. And I can add another one of those text things to the home page menu. And again, I'll just make it another horizontal rule, save it. And as soon as that's saved, I can drag it up so that it's between recent posts and categories. And so now while my menu is saved, I can refresh this again. Let's see how that looks. And that's a lot easier to read now that these are distinctly separate areas just with that little horizontal rule in between. It's great. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead, and the next thing to do is to create a custom menu for the category so that it's a little less, I don't know, extensive. So let's jump back over here and let's look at making a new menu that is not already made. So we're going to click on create new menu, and we're going to make something that is called let's not call it categories. Let's call it categorical search, because there's already something that's called categories. So this is something that's not going to be seen where I create the menu. It's the title and the widget that's going to be seen. So just the menu name's not going to be seen by itself. So I'll hit create menu, and we could always name this something else. We could change the name later. Okay, so now what I need to do is I don't want to add pages. I want to add categories. All right, and so you can see here that we've got all these different categories, and it says most used, and then view all, and then there's search. Well, the thing under view all, it's nice, is that it actually shows the hierarchy, and anything that's categorized underneath is going to appear as, you know, anything that's underneath is going to appear under anything that's under city. And so you could try doing something that's like city, coastal area, dog friendly, neighborhood, whatever. But that might not be very informational. So what you could do is you could say select all for right now, and we don't want uncategorized, and we could just add that to the menu. And let's just see what kinds of options it gives us whenever it goes and adds to the menu. Now, one of the things that we can do is we can bump this in so that it becomes really obviously a child, and let's just see how this particular theme's menu deals with that. Okay, and what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and I fixed all of it so you don't have to watch me do it. And this one I'm not going to automatically add. And I saved it, and now if I go over here to widgets, I need to add that menu. And let's see what happens if, for instance, we get rid of this categories right here. And don't worry about getting rid of it. It's not going to permanently delete it forever. It's just, you know, it's easy to grab it from here because it's one of the default ones. So what I want to do now is where it says custom menu, I want to add the custom menu right here. And then I'm going to select the categorical search, but we're not going to call it categorical search, and we're going to just say search by category for right now. And if later we don't like that, we can always change it. So basically what we did was, as a reminder, is we got rid of the regular categories, which is this one, and it's easy to always grab it. It's regular part of WordPress. And actually what we did here, let's just move this around because you can drag and drop, is we've got search, and then we've got our custom menu for learn more, which is our pages. And then we have our little text HR, horizontal rule, then recent posts, then another HR, and then this custom post, and it's saved. So if I come back over here and refresh this page, then we're gonna get to see how it looks. Okay, so let's scroll down, and I actually kind of like that. I like the way that this is styled, and it becomes very, very clear that the city is the parent to these, and the coastal area is, you know, this actually works out quite nicely in my opinion. So, you know, the only thing that maybe I would do differently is put maybe dog friendly at the bottom, because it sort of feels a little, I don't know, out of whack without having a child. So we could change that order up, and I think that we're in a pretty good shape for this little sidebar. And then the way that that looks is probably pretty nice for the whole site. And so what you could do is you could duplicate what's here, and you can make it so that it's in all of these as well. And then for the footer, we can figure out something a little bit different. So as a reminder, if you wanted to put the dog friendly thing, or like on mine, at the bottom, you'd have to go back to your menus, and you would have to change your menu. You have to actually pick a menu to edit, and see here it says select a menu to edit, and I'm going to go ahead and stick with the categorical search one, which is the current one selected. And what I want to do is I want to move dog friendly down to the bottom, but I'm going to keep it as a parent so that nothing else, it's not, you know, set up underneath something else. I need to save that menu, and I have a feeling it's already going to look better. In fact, I'm not even going to test it because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to like it. So the other thing that I can do too, just as a really quick cleanup, is I could go and I can take my pages, and I can get rid of this sample page, so I can throw that in the trash really quickly, and then we can decide later whether or not we still actually need destinations, because maybe we don't. So I'm going to click on that. And so we're good with our pages here. Now I'm going to go back to appearance, and I'm going to go back to widgets. And whenever I get into widgets, I'm going to duplicate that same menu in all of my for all of my post pages and everything for the regular pages, because these menu items right now only show up on the home page menu widget area. So if I were to, actually, let's just do this. If I were to remove this, hit delete, let's just do a test. And let's just see if for any reason our theme will automatically, if these are empty, if it'll automatically populate what's in here into these other ones. Let's just do a test, because every once in a while you never know. I'm going to hit, actually I'm not going to hit refresh. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on a post like that, and then I'm going to go to the actual post page and then see what the menu looks like. And you see that it's completely empty. So unfortunately, we actually have to manually go and reproduce this in each one of these. And I'm going to do that so you don't have to watch me do it. But just so you know, the way that you would do it is exactly what we did to do this right here. Okay, so I went ahead and I fixed all these other menus up, these widget areas. I shouldn't say menus, I fixed all of the menu widget areas up. So for archive, they're identical to the ones that are for the page menu widget area, is the same also as post menu widget area, and is the same as the home page menu widget area. And that means that whenever I go now, you see here that I'm actually in a post, okay? You can tell by looking at the URL. If I click on this, now it doesn't say that it's empty, right? So, and if I wanted to, you know, for instance, just go to, I could change this. Let's try doing this where I go to that URL, because that's looking for October of 2015, and it's going to refresh here. And you can see that it's pulling up everything that's from October, so you can see that this is looking right. And then, you know, the same would be true if I actually went to a page. So let's go to the contributors page, for instance. And you can see that I'm on the contributors page here. And so if I look, you see that it's still exactly what I want it to be, so it's consistent throughout the entire website, which is pretty nice, okay? So yeah, and then this might be a problem where this is like a really, really pale pink. That might not work out so well, so I might need to make it a little bit more saturated. So there might be some things that are a little bit fussy about this particular theme, but yeah, this is just something. And also notice that because I don't have up here, I don't have a featured image, all it says is contributors with a black background. So this might be, for this particular theme, might be a really good reason for me to find something that I think is an interesting photograph that would represent me, so that it doesn't have to be a picture of me though, okay? So this is how we could style this theme. Now, we could also look at what would happen if we went and changed this theme to something else, now that we've done all that work. So let's actually jump back here and let's just go back into themes. And I want to show you what happens to all of our widgets and everything if we go and use a different theme. So if I decide to come down here and let's say use this Matroman light theme, if I activate that. Well, first of all, before I activate that, I want to make a suggestion to you, because sometimes going back and forth between themes can potentially do some damage to your database in a way that is unpredictable. I would really highly recommend that you back up both your database as well as your files at this point, especially because you've done so much work. I'm not going to show you how to do that because I've already shown you how to do that. I'm not asking you to back it up and restore it, just back it up just in case you find that there are problems. It's a really good idea to do this periodically anyway. But I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to switch this theme. So if I click on activate, I want you to see, first of all, widgets disappears. And part of that is because this is the light theme. And if you were to go and read the details about this theme, one of the things you would discover, if you click on theme details, one of the things that you would discover is that you have to pay to get some of the special stuff, right? So anyway, I'm just going to close this. I already know that that's true. But if I come back over here now and I hit refresh, you can see what this page would look like under the new theme.